Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. Our channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to do our daily technical analysis updated commodities, work our way through the dollar, yields, precious metals, commodities, ETFs that I follow. I'll interject my financial opinion as we go. And if you need help with anything, check out finding-value.com, where I dive deeper into these topics, deeper into individual companies, individual sectors, and really share my opinions about individual companies and do a lot of training sessions during the Q&As. We do have a Q&A coming up Sunday, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we do have a discount still going on May Day. It still works. And you get 50% off the first month of a monthly membership, only the first month, and a bigger discount on the yearly membership if you're interested in signing up for a year. So let's dive in, and I will share my opinions here. We've got the DXY. That's where we normally start. And this still looks like a bullish formation to me. You can see that we came up with some strength coming up here, and we're kind of just sitting down. Whenever it kind of leans in like that, that's generally where you could see a potential pop. But yields are down today. We did have a slightly weaker dollar, and we did get some support later in the day. So again, I don't play the short term here. I play long-term trends. And the long-term trend that I think is coming is still an increasing interest rate environment on the medium to longer term or a period of time. And I think we're going to see strength in oil and precious metals may go up with it in terms of interest rates and precious metals at some point, much like the 1970s. And I think something like that and similar is occurring. So even if I get the short term wrong, which technical analysis is about 60% correct, I'm going to ride it for the longer term trends. Just an FYI for everybody. So this still looks strong, could go higher. Now on the 2-year yield, this is looking a little bit weaker. Are we going to break lower? Are we going to get a slowdown in the short term? Or are we going to stay higher for longer? I don't know the future, but looking at this chart, it makes me think that we can still go lower here. And I've been flipping back and forth on where the heck this thing is going to go. Sometimes when you get to these decision areas where you get a nice big bullish engulfing there, which makes it look like it wants to go up, and then we get short-term weakness, which is right around a trend line that we've kind of playing with, which is broken lower, you can get these mixed signals in the short term. So the way that I played is it's just like, you know what, just let's get some more data. Let's get some more trading sessions behind us, and maybe we get a better, cleaner picture of what this looks like on a longer term time frame. Because this still looks like it wants to go up on the monthly and the weeklies. You dive into the dailies, and there is some weakness that is present the past few trading sessions. So let's get more data behind us. Let's take a look at the 10-year and 30-year. 10-year still looks okay. It's in this channel going up. We've got a little bit of selling pressure, and again, it's not overly biased in either direction here. It's kind of just floating up and not really making a ton of progress. It's not, launching like it did back here. It's just working its way on up, and it still looks like that could do that. The 30-year yield is also doing that. And the reason I think that is because you get the bigger buying pressure, small selling pressure, and that generally works its way on up. So that has the characteristic of continued moves higher. Still has it for the 10 and 30. TYX TNX ratio, we're still at an inverted level, a very inverted level. And when this uninverts, that's when we generally see precious metals do well. Now, the question is, when is it going to uninvert? I don't know. No one knows. Unless you're an insider and they know exactly when they're going to lower interest rates, which I don't think they even know when they're going to lower interest rates. So we are seeing mixed data in the markets. I'm not talking about just technical analysis. So we could stay longer for the inverted yield curve, where we could see metals kind of consolidate a little bit as interest rates bounce up and down and cycle up and down as they go sideways. So that's kind of what I think is occurring right now. We've got bond prices slightly up today. But again, I mean, I'm getting mixed signals here. Big bullish engulfings there, and then we're getting some strong selling pressure pulling back. And then a pretty weak bounce the past two trading sessions. And they are gapping in the morning here upwards. But they don't have sustained movement. So they gap in the morning, boom, and then they just go sideways to slightly lower. It's almost like someone's gapping it for a particular reason or something. Like they're trying to drive a demand into it and then sell into that demand. And that is a tactic that advanced knowing, a lot of the times what they do is if you're going down in a trend, they'll gap it up in the morning and sell it off throughout the day to try to get people excited and sucker people in to buy it. 2-year, 10-year, we got this big selling pressure move. We're above support and we got a weak little bounce. Makes me think that we could continue to maybe uninvert on the yield curve here. So again, we need more data here. I don't want to jump to conclusions. Let's see what the next few weeks even or months bring in terms of trading here in the short term. Gold, although the dollar and yields were lower, gold doesn't have a power position here. It looks weak. It looks like it wants to pull back still. And I don't see that reversing yet in the chart. We've got silver that pulled back. So gold pulling back. We've got silver pulling back. 3% is a pretty big pullback there. But again, we're consolidating sideways and we'll see where this goes. We've broken the big pattern here to the upside. So I am going to remain bullish on the longer term. Platinum up about $8 or $9 an ounce, and it's consolidating sideways, and we'll see what occurs here. It's right on that trend line, trying to break through. That's where we're at. I am very bullish on this. I think it will break eventually. Yes. And then palladium down quite a bit today, down 4.3%, right back to support. This is the out of favor metal. And if we continue lower, which it looks like we might, it's possible we might come back somewhere into this support region. The support region, the thick of the support regions in the 700s here. But there's a lot of support right through here, starting at about 8. I'd say, so it starts right where we're at, but it gets a little thicker, I would say, in the $800 range. So, but again, we could still see weakness in palladium. I think platinum possesses a much stronger looking chart that's already based out. This hasn't based out here, which it needs to. XAU to gold ratio, we are slightly higher today. It looks fantastic from a long-term perspective. We've broken that downtrend where gold and silver mining companies can outperform gold. It looks fantastic. We should be bullish. We have the CRB index, and I don't know if this is reading. I don't know why it's just going sideways here for the past 3 days. But I've got a sideways reading there. The CRB to S&P 500's dropped a little bit. That must mean that the S&P 500 went up a teeny bit today. So we had a little bit of a move lower in this ratio, and we're still at ridiculously good area for a monster move to the upside where this revaluation is going to occur, much like the last bull market here. So I think we are going to go way up, revalue where commodities beat the S&P 500. And the S&P 500 could go lower over that time frame. It's not just the CRB index going up. So GDX down slightly. We are getting a little bit of selling pressure. It's above support. Everything looks okay. Same with GDXJ. That's underneath resistance. There's your resistance. We got to pop through this on the juniors. We can pop through that. We are going to be partying like rock stars. You damn right I'll be partying because this is going to go up a lot. But we're up against resistance and we have not broken through that resistance yet. SILJ also getting a little bit of selling pressure today, down 0.7%. But momentum's to the upside. And we'll see if that momentum can continue over the next few trading sessions. And maybe this here is, hopefully we can break out and then rip on top of that pattern. That would be really, really awesome if it does that. Crude oil down 0.9%. we've got, we're back within this pattern here and right on support. Maybe we're not on the pattern. We're basically on support here. If we back out and take a look, are we going to get a move lower before moving up? We very well could. I'm not saying we can't, but right now it still looks okay to move higher potentially if support holds where we're at. TTF gas down a little bit today, but still looks good. We are above a gobload of support. It looks good to go up. Natural gas in America just moving sideways, and we've been consolidating here sideways for a little bit, for a little while. And I do think, guys, that natural gas, I don't know when, at some point is going to rip. It's probably going to be weather related, so just be patient. Our boy XOP, yeah, you know me, up 2%. What is going on? Crude oil was down 0.9%. Why is this up and why is it turtle heading higher? Why are people positioning in XOP for a potential move higher? Maybe they're front running what they think crude oil is going to go. Now we're sitting on a shoulder, head, shoulder pattern, and we're sitting above the neckline, in my opinion. And we are just breaking out of a consolidation zone today. It looks good. It looks very good. And we can talk about potential investment opportunities if you want at the question and answer session this weekend around this breakout. That's what I would be doing. OIH also up 2.1% with oil down 0.9%. Pretty strong day. We may not get down here. We may be ready to rock and roll. If we see crude oil start to make a move to the upside, I would be pretty bullish. I would be pretty bullish. And I'd be watching some of these areas to see if we get some follow through here. And I'd get bullish in a heartbeat. That's what I'll say. Sprott Physical Uranium Trust continuing to sell off a little bit. Does look a little bit weak, and we could see further selling pressure in the short term. We've got URA also just moving sideways. Still looks good for the equities here. This does not look bad at all. So what is Sprott Physical Uranium Trust doing, and why isn't it going up when we've got the equities going up? Good question. I don't know that answer. I don't know. But the equities look good here. URNM also looking good. It's above support. And URNJ also above support. And we've just been moving sideways the past week or two. So, I mean, it looks good from equities perspective. And what I would do is absolutely nothing. Just let it go. Let it go up and let it try to make you money. And if it pulls back in the short term, then ride on through it. That's the way that I would do it. So URNJ versus URNM, it's just moving sideways still. Tan down, and what's kind of weird on some of these is we did get a lower dollar, lower yields. We're seeing the exact opposite trade in the market. We're seeing oil and oil companies and energy service companies go up, which is generally, it goes up when you have increasing interest rates. And then everything that's interest rate sensitive is going down today when interest rates go down. So it's kind of a weird day today. But TAN's up against resistance. So we were down in TAN, even though interest rates were down. We were down in copper, even though interest rates were down. This does look like it wants to pull back. We've broken that trend line. We've had a big move here, guys. You can't expect it to go up straight. COPX down a little bit, looking like it's trying to get a little bit of support right where it's at. That's a wick on the bottom that I'm looking at, the little wicks. But that's had a big move too. I wouldn't expect it just to run immediately. Lithium down a little bit. It's trying to put in some sort of bottom. There's the big return move. It's possible we even go down here and do a full retest at 36 bucks. Still possible. We've got REMX down a teeny bit. And that's what's weird. All these are down a little bit, even though we had yields down. But that does look like it's trying to put in some sort of bottom. It's a hammer candlestick right there, kind of right up against support. But that is an upward facing, we can do it like this. This is upward facing to some degree. Whenever it angles upward like this, sometimes that's a bearish pattern. So we'll see if that holds. S&P 500 up 0.8%. Nice little reversal candlestick, and we'll see if we can get some follow through here to the upside. It's a hammer candlestick. You can grab the handle of it down here and hammer away, you know. So we'll see if that has any follow through next trading session. Another hammer candlestick here in the Nasdaq, and we'll see if we can get any reversal out of it. So what we're looking at, if we were to go to the almost the daily, it's this reversal where it was coming down in a downtrend, and then it reversed on up quite substantially towards the end of the day. And that's generally the plunge protection team rolling in there at the end of the day. But we'll see if this has any follow through to the upside next trading session. Russell also moving up a little bit today. Got to keep those elections going good with the stock market going higher, right? We've got KRE, lower yields. This actually responded the way I think it would go up 1.4%, lower yields, lower dollar. Emerging markets went in the opposite direction, surprisingly, and doing a retest. Basically, almost a full retest of this breakout. So I think it's a good spot to be looking here. XHB also higher, 1.33%, weaker dollar, weaker yields. Makes sense, going on up. That did track the way that it would trade. We do have a little bit of momentum down here, and it's pretty weak bounce. This could still have downside pressure, depending on where yields go. We've got MU also moving on up. This is another interest rate sensitive one. I think this looks good here. It's right against support. So good support to the downside, and I think we've got a breaking pattern of a falling wedge to the upside. So I think this looks good. Iron ore down a little bit, probably going to do a retest here at about 110-ish. And we'll probably do a little retest and then work our way on up. This does look like a Livermore accumulation cylinder in the long term. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's get this thing ripping. Nickel down a little bit, but still looks good to go higher. I'm not going to change my opinion. Momentum's to the upside. Aluminum down also. And the momentum's still to the upside, though. So we're getting a little bit of a short-term pullback. We'll see where it trades the next few trading sessions, and I'll continue my opinion there. We do have a lot of support in the 25-ish level there. Baltic Dry Index is up. It's been trading sideways the past few days. It's trying to find support right on support here. And Newcastle Coal up 0.5. This does look good to continue higher. It's probably going to rip at some point. You're going to see positioning in coal companies, and I think coal is a good opportunity to start looking at here, or already be invested if you look at the coal charts. BTC down. We can zoom in there. It still looks good to go up. It's above support, not much selling pressure, just moving sideways. Still looks good. Ethereum up a little bit, and again, that looks good too. Momentum's to the upside, not much selling pressure in that circle there. Still looks good. SMCI down a little bit, and I wouldn't be too worried here. It looks like it's trying to put in a bottom at some point, maybe just doing a retest move. And then NVIDIA also getting some selling pressure. It could even pull back here, and if it does it really slow, I would be bullish for it to move on up. If it does it slow. We don't want to see big, fat down candlesticks with huge selling pressure. That would be bearish. But that's what I'm seeing in the markets right now, guys. Give me a thumb up for the content. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the website if you'd like. We've got the Sunday question and answer session, 5 p.m. This weekend. Love to see you guys there. Bring your questions. And ask really tough questions. I'm here to help you guys, and if I don't know the answer, I'll research it and try to find an answer for you guys. If it's a question that I am unfamiliar with, which helps everyone, helps me, helps everyone else. And again, I don't know everything, but the longer term, when we look at these big picture views, the commodity bull market is still A-okay. It is still good. We've got interest rates breaking that 40-year long downtrend. Everything points to higher precious metal prices and commodity prices, that we are in the early stages of a big bull market in commodities. And what I haven't seen is a rollover in technology stocks yet. They're still chugging along at this point. When they start to roll over, I think we're going to see an acceleration in some of the investments that we're in. We can also see pressure on yields go down depending on what Powell does. So That's my guesses of what's coming. But we'll catch you guys later. This is Finding Value.